good, YouTube? C1 Mac in the building, back with another video, back with another reaction. This is another video aiming for the fellas. We have so much to learn, but everybody does. Today, whether you like it or not, stop being selfish for just a little bit so we can learn exactly what the G-spot is. Today, we're going to have Dr. Rena Malik show us where the G-spot is, how to reach the G-spot, and what we need to do to take care of this. This is going to help us in our sex life, fellas. You may be good, but I want you to be great. You may be great, but I want you to be legend. You see where I'm going with this. So without further ado, let's do what it do.
Have you ever been confused about the anatomy down there if you're either having intercourse or making love to somebody with a vulva, or you own one yourself? Well, I'm Dr. Rena Malik, urologist and pelvic surgeon, and today we're going to talk about all you need to know about female anatomy. And make sure you stick around till the end of the video, because I'm going to talk about what exactly is this infamous G-spot and what should you know about it. If you're new here, I'm a board-certified urologist, and I make urologic educational content on sexual education, bladder health, and much, much more. So make sure you subscribe and share this video with your friends. Specifics of anatomy, it's important to understand how we develop. For simplicity's sake, in this video, I'm going to refer to anybody with a penis as a male, anybody with a vulva as a female. When a fetus is getting developed in the uterus, so when someone's pregnant and their baby is developing, during the first 8 weeks, we don't have any genitals. The fetus has two distinct things that will eventually develop into either a female or male anatomy, and that is a genital tubercle and a urogenital sinus. At about 10 weeks, the fetus starts developing male or female external genitalia depending on what genes the baby has. So if they're an XX, they're going to develop into a female, and if they're an XY, they're going to develop into a male.
So you telling me, just like in Pokemon, we grow up the first 8 weeks as a ditto?
Tell me, you didn't just say that.
And in the womb, the first 8 weeks in the womb, we are literally a Pokemon. And then depending on Pokemon X or Pokemon Y, we're going to sit there and figure out if we're going to be a male or a female based on the strong genetics, which one's over the other. Wow. Wow.
Genital tubercle, as you can see here, develops into the head of the penis in the male and the head of the clitoris in the female. Because these structures develop from the original urogenital sinus and genital tubercle that were identical in both fetuses, they will have what's called homologous structures. And what that means is that they're developed from the same embryological tissue. They have very similar function, structure, and location. So in men and women, the head of the penis and the clitoris develop from the same tissues, as well as the hood of the clitoris and the foreskin of the penis. And then when you look at the lips of the labia, or the outer and inner lips of the vagina, and the scrotum is actually analogous or similar to the outer lips of the vagina. And that's called the labia majora. So everything you see in this picture is called the vulva. And then at the top, very top, you see the clitoris. And that is, again, as I mentioned, analogous to the male penis, the head of the penis. And so it's full of tons of nerve endings, and very commonly stimulation of the clitoris will result in orgasm for women, similar to how men need penile stimulation to have orgasms as well. It has a hood as well, and you can see that's called the prepuce. The prepuce can be covering the clitoris, can be moved back and forth, similar to the foreskin of the penis. Interestingly, sometimes the hood of the clitoris can actually get adhesions or stuck to the top of the clitoris, and in some people this can cause some pain. Before we move on to the other anatomy, let's get a little bit deeper into the clitoris. Interestingly, the word clitoris is actually derived from the Greek word clitoris or kleis, which means key by which one enters the door. Very interesting.
I just want to open that door and take your soul.
No.
interesting. The clitoris is exactly identical embryologically to the penis, the head and the shaft of the penis. And while it looks pretty small and you only see a very small part of the clitoris, when you actually look at the entire internal part of the clitoris, and here you can see a picture of it, it's actually quite long and bifurcates,
like
very similar
Pokemon.
to how the erectile tissue of the penis does. And in fact, when you look at studies where they've actually done anatomical dissections, it is identical.
Stop. I need the rest of this part, this little light pink part. I need the rest of that along with wherever that little pink part before it gets to purple to kind of pull up out here, because I'm trying to get all the inches. You telling me my body is cheating me?
Ain't no fucking way, boy.
Of inches? Maybe I'm seeing this the wrong way.
Identical to the nerves and the blood vessels to the penis. Similar to the penis, also the clitoris can get enlarged and engorged with blood during an erection and have tumescence, very similar to what happens during an erection in a male. And I described that in my video about sildenafil and tadalafil if you want to learn a little bit more about what happens during an erection for a man. And here you can see that all of this erectile tissue covers the urethral opening and the vaginal opening and goes out to the sides. So that is also right underneath some of the inner lips of the vagina, or the labia minora. And so some people can find those areas to be very sensitive as well. Below the clitoris, you can see the urethral opening. The urethral opening is essentially the end of your pee tube. So your bladder makes urine and it pees out of that pee tube. Below that, you can see the vagina itself. The vagina is a pretty amazing structure. The reason being is that it can change in shape. As you may know, when women have babies, it can get quite large to have the passage of a baby. But similarly, that's what happens during arousal. During arousal, it actually gets wider and longer, up to 3 inches longer when the person is aroused. And then lastly, below all that, you can see the...
So, for those that need any clarification, you ever been to a strip club? I know, this is the reference I'm using. You ever been to a strip club and you see that one girl that not only shows you all of that, but it looks like it's talking? Kind of similar to that.
The opening to the anus. In women, we always talk about having 3 holes. The urethra, which is at the very top, then the vagina, and lastly, the anus. So as I've mentioned throughout this video, the clitoris is analogous to the penis. So many women need clitoral stimulation in order to orgasm. But a lot of people talk...
Just like when guys get all their stimulations from getting hit, when the woman licks on it, sucks on it, strokes it, guys, we gotta lick, we gotta suck on it, we gotta play with it with our thumbs while licking the rest of the sensitive area. We gotta do just the same amount of work as women when they're giving us head, okay? And women, if guys are sitting there and they can eat you and lick and suck on you for a long period of time and don't complain about jaw hurting,
talk about this thing called the G-spot. So what exactly is the G-spot? It was actually identified in 1940 by Ernst Grafenberg. It's on the top of the vagina, or what we call the anterior wall of the vagina, about 1 inch or 2 inside the...
I'll make sure you look at it in my video. Don't sit there and say, oh, he skimmed through it, it was a quick video, I ain't see it. See that little button? Look at it. Look at it. Respect it. Acknowledge it. Look, that man's hand is very small. Mine is bigger. So gauge it based off of you. Be honest with your hand size, okay?
The vagina. A lot of people describe this as you can feel or find this area by putting a finger in the vagina and using a come hither motion. However, it's not like a magic button that you can actually find and press. It's just an area where there's lots and lots of nerves. Interestingly, right above the vagina in this area is what we call the Skene's gland. And the Skene's gland is analogous or homologous to the male prostate. I've previously talked about prostatic massage and how some people find this to be pleasurable. And similarly, some women may find massage of this area to be pleasurable as well. However, is this G-spot the holy grail? Well, for some women, they are able to orgasm with penetration to the G-spot. But for most women, clitoral stimulation is required for orgasm to happen because, like I've described in this entire video, the clitoris is basically the same sensitivity, the same tissue structure as the male penis. And so women need clitoral stimulation very often in order to reach orgasm.
In short, some people can get a 2-in-1 special when you are penetrating her and you just happen to hit that G-spot while you're going back and forth. For others, though, that comes down to that moment where when you're entering and you're going through the motion, and at the same time you're taking that hand, your dominant hand, whichever one, and you're rubbing on the clit while you're going through the strokes. Especially when you're eating, especially when you're fingering, you gotta tend to not only the clitoris, but the G-spot at the same time to get the results that you need, right? So remember that. If you're not really good at it, practice it. Your spouse should be patient enough to let you do that much. And you should be open enough to practice it a lot and try it in order to get that spot going, get the results that you desire, and talk to each other, communicate. I don't understand this weird area where you're supposed to just naturally know and never communicate whatsoever, which is weird to me. I mean, communication across the whole board about any and everything makes the whole world work. Anyway, hopefully this helped y'all out. Hopefully it helped me out to figure out a few things, gave me a few ideas of a few things I'm gonna need to try. And until next time, YouTube, peace. What's good, YouTube? C1 Mac here. Thank you for watching my videos. Leave a like, comment. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more content. Until then, until next time. Peace. Chicken grease. That G-spot though.